It's time to rewire your mind. Welcome to the Hayden Russo Show, the show that provides you with inspiration to help you succeed in life. Here's your host, Hayden Russo.
Hello there. Y'all know I like how that there sounds. Hello there. I want to thank everyone. I miss you guys. Thank you for all your feedback. Some of the complaints that I got last week was that I cleared my throat too much online. I stayed on topic, but I need to be a little bit more explaining so that the audience can hear from a perspective and understand everything from the beginning to the end. So hopefully I want to do that for you. Before I get into this week's topic, I want to digress for a moment. I believe that at some point in time that you have to find a way to make life much more meaningful for you and your family. The way to accomplish this is the difficult part. When I was growing up, my mother always told me, go to school, get an education, you'll get a good job, and then you make a career, and then after you're successful at your career, you basically grow old and die. I'm not one of those individuals. I am an individual that's always seeking better ways and new opportunities. Prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I was a union electrician. It provided me a stable life. It provided me a good quality of life. Locally, when I first started out after apprenticeship school, I made $60,000, and I gradually worked my way up as a traveling electrician, earning over $120,000 a year. But as my good friend Rod said, you quit that job because it gave you no stability. You were not home with the family on a daily basis. Basically, what he was saying was I was unfulfilled. So when I left that job, it was because I was trying to find a better way to create residual income, to create steady income, to create income when I'm asleep, to help benefit my family. Then I started a company. And to date, I probably have failed at maybe, 10 to 15 companies. And I will continue failing, because if you continue failing at something, guess what will happen? You will hit one. But you can never be afraid to fail. So last year, as I sat down, I kept pondering what it is that I wanted to do. How could I create residual income? After going to seminars after seminars, trade shows after trade shows, I came into a country called Macedonia. We touched on this last week. Macedonia is a country that is located in southeastern Europe. And that country has a wealth of information that would help make the connection between here in the United States as well as in Macedonia can be a win-win relationship for both parties. When I say both parties, I mean United States and Macedonia. For those of you guys that didn't listen to the show last week, Macedonia is located in southeastern Europe. It has a population of roughly about 2.5–3 million folks. It's full of wealth. It's full of prosperity. Macedonia reminds me of where we were in this country 30 years ago. in my community where I grew up, was areas where family household incomes are roughly $20,000 or less. And when I started to begin to reflect on Macedonia in my childhood, I could see resemblance. In Macedonia, you don't have the obesity that is very prevalent here in the United States. You can walk to get to most of your places. Their food, their quality, their products are more healthy. And it's more community oriented. And if you recall back 20, 30 years ago, we can walk down to the ice cream parlor. We can go around the corner and get a haircut, walk a mile to the grocery store. And then as life began to evolve and technology began to catch up, now you have to drive 6-7 miles to get to Target or 4 miles to get to Walmart. So when I ran into Macedonia and I had a chance to go over to Macedonia, I scheduled a trip. I met with the government officials over there. I met with a lot of vendors there. I met a lot of the people there. The purpose of my trip was a reconnaissance mission to see what Macedonia had to offer. And after I got into that, I got a chance to see all of the different technology that are available over there. They have state-of-the-art equipment. They have a tremendous amount of call center. T-Mobile is there. And if you guys fail to realize what Macedonia is, Macedonia once upon a time was the powerhouse behind Alexander the Great, conquering wars, and his mission was to unify that whole region. And I think that he would have been very successful had he not passed away. But the nature of me giving you that history of Macedonia is because I think that if you continue to do the same old things, you will get the same results. And what I mean by that is we're in a society here in the United States of America where we have some type of division. We have the Republicans. When they're in the White House, I make a ton of money as a businessman. And then when we have Democrats in the White House, as a businessman, I suffer. So it makes you think about you're in a system where you can't be rewarded for your ingenuity. You can't be rewarded for your greatness. You have to be rewarded by going out, getting a degree, knowing the right people, paying your dues, and hopefully you'll be successful. We're in a country where the last time we had a presidential election, we almost tipped $1 trillion in campaign contribution. This is the only society where you spend more money to get into office. And when you get into office, all of the things that you promise the American people rarely is ever done. So in essence, the Democrats give you gifts to depend on them: Social Security, welfare, food stamp, and yes, rightfully so, some of us need it. But I think these are two systems that are not for the individuals such as myself and individuals making $20,000 or less. I think that you have to begin to find a new way. And in order for you to find a new way, you must understand how to play the game. We have to begin to learn about this economy. We have to begin to learn about trading with other countries. We have to begin to get back to our roots. Because when I look at what the country was like prior to us coming here, all of us traded. Okay? And slavery wasn't so much about want to enslave one person or anything like that. It was because of manpower. It was about business. It was about producing product at a low price to maximize the return for the owner. So before I get into the topic of the day, I want to thank the Macedonian people. I want to thank the people in Macedonia that listen to this show. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for all the kind words of wisdom that you gave me when I was there. The time, some of these meetings were 3 hours long. Some of these meetings went from the government center to going out, looking at these wonderful facilities, and then going out and having dinner with them at night. It was a wonderful experience. It was a very eye-opening experience. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that although that I was the only African American in Macedonia at the time that I was there, I was treated like one of the people. I was embraced everywhere I went, and I have nothing but good things to say about the people over in Macedonia. I conducted a Macedonia report. You'll be able to find it on our site. It gives you all of the details that you can find. It gives you contact information. It's a wealth of information for anyone that's looking to do business in Macedonia. Myself, I created a company in Macedonia. I plan on putting investors together to begin to import and export things back and forth to Macedonia. I would love to create a nonprofit organization. I saw a lot of kids sleeping on the streets. I want to begin to help women in Macedonia to get their footing. They're going through the same thing what women went through here. There's not a lot of men holding doors open. There's not a lot of support for the women and children in that part of the country, to my opinion, and I want to do something about that. So what I decided that I would do is that I have a book that's coming out that's called Failure is Not an Option. I will be creating a nonprofit organization here in the United States, as well as a nonprofit organization there in Macedonia, and I will begin to use 50% of all of the proceeds that will come from the book that I wrote, that Failure is Not an Option. You're more than welcome to pre-order this book. You can contact the Hayden Russo Show at gmail.com and place your pre-orders, or you may call me direct at 561-723-6775 for your pre-orders. And all 50% of all proceeds will be dedicated to establishing these nonprofits to help improve the lives of the less fortunate here in the United States and help improve the lives of the individuals and kids that I saw sleeping on the streets and the less fortunate over in Macedonia, and begin to foster trade relationships. And the thing that I find quite fascinating over in Macedonia is that by the time you graduate, you have to know 2 languages. So you have to know, a lot more than is required here in the United States. And you have a lot of bachelor's degrees and people graduating over there. And I want to connect them here. And hopefully with the technology that we have, we can kind of bridge the gap and kind of look outside the box on a solution and stop depending on the politicians that continue to come to the neighborhoods and promise you all of these goods and never deliver. It's a vicious cycle that if we don't break ourselves out of it, we'll continue to live in a household where we're bringing home $800 a week. Some of us are blessed to be bringing home $1,000, yet $1,700 a week. But how can we learn ways to make $1,700 in a day? How can we foster and learn ways to make $17,000 in a week? We're not going to be able to do these type of things working for someone else. So I want to thank Elliot. I want to thank Oliver, which was the main forces here in the United States, making sure that everything was prepared for me with my meetings back in Macedonia. I want to thank Vitalia Pardis, Rooting. I want to thank Vines of Macedonia. I want to thank all of the wonderful people that invited me into their homes. I want to thank the accountant, Miss Angela, Miss Marita, which is my right-hand woman over in Macedonia. And I'm telling you guys, please go to their website. Investing in Macedonia can be one of the best things that you have ever done for you. They're in the beginning stages of growth. Macedonia is strategically located to be a hub to the surrounding countries. And what I want to do is create a hub here so that we can begin to use the ports and use their strategic location to make a wonderful place. Invest in Macedonia. Please go Google Invest in Macedonia. It'll take you to their website. The Macedonian report will be on our website. You'll find all of the information, all the contact information. But to be more specific, the website is www.investinmacedonia.com. Investinmacedonia.com. Today's topic is going to be about how do we create residual income. But before we can get there, we got to make sure that we're blocking out the noise. So let's get past that part before we go into the next segment. If you would like to join this conversation, the phone lines are open. 888-463-6748. That's 888. Go for it. I know a lot of you guys and ladies called last week and said you had a hard time getting to the show. The lines were busy. We would do our best to get to you and to give you an opportunity to share your comments and concerns.
This segment of the show was sponsored by Shakira Roll at ERA Home Run Real Estate. Buy, sell, or rent, I can help the entire world. Need assistance with down payment? No problem. Call Shakira Roll today at 561-312-2641 or email her at info@rollhome.com. That's info@rollehome.com. Visit her website at www.rollhome.com. That's www.rollehome.com.
The best pork, barbecue, ribs, and chicken in the state of Florida. Don't believe it? Try it yourself. Call Bounce Back Barbecue at 561-307-4382. They also do catering. That's 561-307-4382. If you would like to be a sponsor or advertiser on the show, call today at 561-723-6781. If there is a topic you would like to discuss on the show, call and inform us today at 561-723-6775. You can always reach me at Facebook at Hayden Rousseau. That's HYDNROUSSEAU. If you like what you're hearing from Hayden Rousseau, book him today 561-723-6775. He has experience to deal with trouble use, successful businessman, excellent motivator. Whatever your problem, he has an answer. Give us a try. 561-723-6775. Car accident, dents or scratches? Has the Florida sun faded your ride? Call High Gloss Paint and Body. Their service is fast and reliable. High Gloss Auto Paint and Body will deal with your insurance company, taking all the load off your shoulders. I know what that can be like. Call them today, 561-508-4220. They're located on 2550 Windsor Avenue, Suite A, West Palm Beach, Florida. You tell High Gloss that Hayden Russo sent you.
You're listening to the Hayden Russo Show on TalkZone.com. Here's Hayden Russo.
Hey, Dave, can you give me a little music? Can you give me a little music there, Dave? Get me a little pumped up here. Woo! Thank you so much, Dave. I'm feeling it, Dave. Thank you. Look, I want to thank the people. This is the first show that has ever been international in Macedonia. So we're breaking ground here. And I got to thank Dave. I got to thank everybody at Talk Zone that's doing wonderful things behind the scenes to make this happen. A lot of time, guys, I got to tell you, man, I'm showing up 1 minute before show starts. Sometimes it's like 30 seconds and everything is lined up and this show is moving. Thank you. Getting back to our point here, what can we do to increase the income in our household to make a better life for us in the future? So in this part, I'm going to talk about some of the things that will get in your way. And then on the next segment, we'll start talking about solutions and what we can do to make and put ourselves in a better situation to be successful. The first and foremost, we have guys that are single and we have people like me that are married. All right. So for the single guys, you will not be by yourself forever. You'll have kids. And we want to see you with a significant other or not and live to see 100. If you live to see 100, we told you on this show, you can go back, that 85% of the population by the time they turn 65 would only make $6,000 or less. These are statistics. You can go find them anywhere. This is real. And you not doing nothing about it to help your family to be more successful because you make $1,000 a week and you make $60,000 a week, or you make $100,000 a year. Are you serious? Because you have $2 million in your retirement fund, you think you're safe? 56% of that is taxman money. It's the IRS. He has to get his up top. Okay. Don't forget all of the additional fees. So when you're left with 36% or 40% left of the 2 million, do you really have 2 million? So we have to clear up the noises that will stumble us and hurt us along the way. We have to stop saying that I don't have the money. I don't have any money to save. I don't have the time. I don't have the relationships. We talked about it earlier in the show, and you can go back, and that's what I love about Talk Zone. That's why they're one of the best in the business. Okay, that's why the Hayden Russo Show is here. Because you can go back on demand and you can pull these things up. You can look at the video interaction. We give you videos here, okay, to help support what it is that we're trying to convey to you. I get people saying, "Oh, you go and find other people's video and you're bringing their video online." Well, you go start a radio show. You get your own videos and you find a way to do it better. Don't talk about it. Stop talking and being on the sideline. You're going to get dropped whether you're on the sideline or on the field in this game of life. You're either going to be a consumer or you're going to be a producer. Most of you saying that, why should we want to trade? Okay? Why not? The first opposition you're going to face is at home with the wife. Okay, what I'm saying the trade is no different than you want to be a football player. Okay? And we're going to use those two analogies, football player and trading. Okay? Are you going to have bumps and bruises along the way? Yes. Are you going to fail along the way? Yes. Are people not going to return your call? Yes. Are people in the United States may say that they're going to help you, and then when it comes time to help, they're not there? Same thing would happen to you in Macedonia or anything anywhere in the world. You have to be committed. If I don't get 7 no's from someone, I haven't asked them enough. So when I'm going after a business venture, it's been a year since I've been to Macedonia, but I wear my Macedonian flag every single day. All the people that know me, that see me around here, they ask me, what is the Macedonian flag for? It's to remind me that I have people in Macedonia that depend on me, and I have not found a solution. So my solution is to start. No longer sitting on the sideline. I had the same problem as you. I sat on the sideline for a year. Why? Every investor I went to said, no, we're not thinking. The wine industry is not for you. You can't get in the wine industry here. We don't distribute your product, or we don't want you to make $1. We want you to make 25 cents. We are all going to face obstacles. Or for the football players, when your game is not being played to your ability, or when you're in a slump, or when you got benched, when you're going through these obstacles outside, and right now we're talking about the noise, all right? What I mean by noise is the daily life distractions. We talked about last segment that you're not tired, you don't have money excuses, you don't have no excuses on why you're not creating residual income for your family, and residual income got to be more than real estate. I own 3 properties, and I get maybe $500 extra from one, maybe $400 extra from another. I'm grateful, but that's not money that's going to pay to sustain my kids through college. Most of these college, I don't know if y'all looking at these tickets here in the United States to get a solid college education. You need $70,000 to $120,000 a year. This is the only system where you spend money to go get student loans and then you spend 20 years to pay it back. Why? Because we're trying to find deals that save us $20. We're trying to find deals where we get an upside of 40 or 50%. Why we can't find deals where we spend $1 and we get $10 return? So football players, when your game is not on point, okay? When you're losing money because you made bad investments, you're losing money because you are not trying to invest in other countries. We're doing the same old thing, and that's why 85% of all basketball players will be filed bankruptcy 5 years after they retire. Football players, no different. 70-80% of you will file bankruptcy by the time, as soon as 5 years after you retire. So stop going home and taking it out on your wife. Anytime you're in fear, it means you don't know something. When you don't know something, you drive slow, you go slow, you research a little bit carefully. When you know something, you're a little bit more confident. You move a little quicker. You know where you're going. You drive a little faster. Okay. And right now we're in an unknown territory. That's where we are right now. And we're trying to find a way to make more money for our family. What, you're going to put your money in the bank? Go get your 0.5%. What, you're going to put your money in a money market account? Go get your 3%. Okay. What, you're going to put your money in the stock market and mutual fund? 98% of all mutual funds lose money. So let's begin taking control of our communication with our spouse. Let's begin to take control of how we communicate with our family, because in order for you to be successful, you need that harmony. And I know I'm a handful to all my kids. I know I'm a handful. I sleep 3-4 hours. Sometimes I come through the door fuss. I come through the door with a whole bunch of energy, but I apologize. But my kids know that every single day I leave this house, I drive 300-400 miles. I'm trying to do everything to make their life easier, because I want to make my grandkids' life easy. I want to live when I'm 65. I want to live better than I'm living right now when I'm 40. So I can take control of my finances. So before we start talking about finances, I'm telling you guys, your football players, your basketball players, all of the men, my book is coming out. Failure is not an option. The book cover is on our site. Okay. I watched my mother, my father hit on my mother every time we didn't have enough money to feed us. He thought that was what to do. Until finally, when we all stood up against him, well, he did hit my brother pretty hard, but that was what made us stand up against him. And guess what? Since that time, not only has he never hit my mother ever again, God bless your soul, they're buried together. I have never hit a woman in my life. I don't plan to, don't have no intention to. So when my son did a special on domestic violence, I felt that it was important to bring this on this show. Hey, Dave, if you would so mind, would you play that clip for me, please?
Hello, I'm Tyler Williams, and I will be presenting my presentation on athletes and domestic violence. It is not clear that a change in policies and procedures is going to result in a real change unless we change the perception that the public and other players and league employers have about domestic violence and sexual assault. Most recently, the public, society, the league, and judges have begun to debate on the issues of domestic violence. Although domestic violence against women is not unique to professional sports, but it provides a wide platform to judge not only leagues' reactions and consequences responses by the criminal justice system. Aggressive behavior is encouraged and celebrated throughout the course of an NFL season. Domestic violence involving athletes is more widespread in particular places and times. Male athletes feel so above the law that they feel they shouldn't have to follow the rules like everyone else because they have more than everyone else. The Ray Rice incident of domestic violence, public outcry sparked media attention when it was widely publicized. With the increase in social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it allows avenues for increased exposure and heightened awareness. Most domestic violence incidents begin with verbal abuse, leading to physical abuse. Most abusers don't start physically abusing their partners without having first verbally abused or belittled them. Many incidents of domestic violence are not reported by the victim, in many cases because of their feelings or financial dependence, public embarrassment, or fear of not being believed. Athletes are culturally elite. They are placed on pedestals, respected and admired, while they should be admired for the work they do on the field. We cannot ignore their conduct off the field. This was my presentation on athletes and domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't good, guys. Do better.
Well, guys, listen. I think Tyler put it best there. We're going to go through the reason that I'm doing this is because remember, if we go back in the shows earlier, 80% of any new endeavor, 80% of your energy will be used to take off the space shuttle. What I mean by that is, guys, when the space shuttle takes off, it takes 80% of consumption to get that puppy off the ground. But when that joker goes through and flies through that stratosphere, it uses 20% of all of its power to fly hundreds of millions of miles and to come back home. We have to start doing the hard things. The sports players and all of the people that's made money, that's come out of these communities, we thank you for being successful. But you hurt us when you go broke. Your heart and the things that you can do for the communities that you came from, you can't do it without resources. And the reason that I'm donating 50% of my book is because I'm not looking for resources. I don't want to use the traditional excuse that I'm not going to make this thing work with Macedonia in the United States. My plan is simple. I plan to get all of the senior citizens here in the United States, the baby boomers that I call them, all my friends, all my rich friends, okay? I get opportunity to live with the rich during the day, and then I come back home to reality at night. And I want to live the life that they live. But I can't talk about it. I have to go and work hard to make my dreams come true. So I have no shame in saying that I want to be rich, that I want to not only be rich monetarily, I want to be rich in soul. And the only way that I can accomplish both things is I have to give myself back to the community. So what I will begin doing here is connecting the people, not only with me, but connecting the people with the Macedonian people and creating relationships and doing all the things that we're good at here in the United States and doing all the things we're good at doing in Macedonia and bridging the gap. But to make all of that work, the household relationship has to be solid. And when you make a mistake, fix it, because you need that backbone. When you go broke, you got to come back to this family. I've been broke a lot of times. Okay? But I'd rather fail, and I'd rather die failing than to never try at all. I will never have woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Okay? I'm not going to have that. Okay? So, to end this segment here, we need to increase our value. We need to increase what we're worth. We need to increase our value to society and watch your life change when you increase your value and you change yourself. Watch your life change. Dave, if you'll give us a short commercial break, we'll be back with more right after this. This is the Hayden Russo Show on Talk Zone. We're going to get right into the solutions with more right after this. Why replace your roof when you can repair it? Call Built Right Roofing today at 844-277-7663. That's 844-277-7663. Come and experience the Built Right way at 844-277-7663. Do you have a ride on your way? Are you in the New York area? When you're stuck, call on NYC Taxi Ride Yellow and Green. We have two apps at your availability, www.waytoride.com or www.goarro.com. NYC Yellow Cab is ready for you. The House of Bling is here. Woo! Specializing in rhinestone apparel. Bling out your company logo or team logo. Call today. 561-723-6781. Woo, they're ready. Get your bling, women, cheerleaders. Tell your coaches about the House of Bling. We're here for all custom apparel. Again, that phone number is 561-723-6781.
Welcome back to the Hayden Russo Show on TalkZone.com.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. All right, so now we got short time. We're gonna pick back up on this next week. This is part A. We're gonna finish with part B next week. Okay. The first thing we got to do before we talk about doing any kind of investment outside the household, guys and ladies. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I gotta tell you, I have a lot of women that say they're single parents. Please. The fathers still need to be in these kids' lives for the success to ultimately happen to its fullest potential. Don't give up on the husbands, or the ex-husbands, the ex-boyfriends. Please continue to believe in us. Even when you can't see our vision, continue to give us the strength and support us. Controlling our financing in the house is the first start. Okay? All right? We need 5 bank accounts. For the people that are saying that we're having problems, let's break this thing down. Okay, so if you make $10, 10% is supposed to go to the church. So we're going to say 10% of that, $1 is supposed to go to the church, right? All right. Now, I'm saying to you that another 10% needs to go into a freedom fund. Now that freedom fund is for, let's take that back. Another 10% is to go in the vacation fund. Okay. So we got the vacation. We have church. Okay. Leaves us with $8. All right. The next account needs to be a emergency fund. Okay. So 10% there. Now you're left with 70%. You're left with $7. Now, with the $7, we need to create 2 types of investments. And we'll talk about investments down the road next week. What you should invest in, how you should keep your 401k. I have all kinds of tips for you on what to do. But right now, we have to begin to start doing some small things to control our finances. And we're going to get into that. Now, out of the $7 that is left, this $10 did not include any of the items that you need to live on a day-to-day basis. It did not include making your monthly payments on your house, your car. We're talking about after you pay everything else and what you have left. Okay? After you take care of your groceries. But I will say this. You need to go and create a list of all your household expenses and tally them up, because you'll need to know that for next week's show. Okay. But after all of those are paid, and we did our 10% for the church, we did our 10% for our vacation fund, we did our 10% for our emergency fund, we have $7 left. That would be split into 60-40. Okay. So hypothetically speaking, I'm 42 years of age. Okay. So I have a lot more time, or no, life is not promised to us tomorrow. If God is willing, I plan to live to 100, but I don't know that. However, I will plan for my future, because I would love to see 100, and we're living longer. Okay. So the final 2 buckets of this, okay, is that if I'm 42, then that means that 60%, or to be exact, 58% of my income needs to go into a risk bucket. We'll talk about our risk bucket with our risk investments next week. And the remaining 40% needs to go into a safe bucket. Okay, we'll talk about the safe mechanisms, whether they are T-bills or what have you. I'll specifically spell things out for you next week. But right now, I need you to understand that we need 5 bank accounts. You don't have to have an account for the church, but I'm telling you, the church will not account for every dollar that you're giving them, and you need these tax write-offs. So my suggestion is, the reason that I'm suggesting that you have a bank account for church is that if the church failed to record all of your donations, that's a church problem. They can deal with God on their own. But for tax purposes, you will be able to have your checks that you issue to the church to make sure that your accounting and your auditing is fine. Your vacation fund is to be used for your family vacation or your individual vacations with your wife when things build up. And the emergency fund is to never be touched. If you lose your job, that's not an emergency. You need to go find another job. If you lose your job for 6 months, that's not an emergency. You need to find another job. If you lose a job for a year, that might be an emergency. Okay, that might be an emergency. You might be able to spend a little bit of money, but you cannot deplete this emergency account. And that's why it's so important to have that relationship with your wife or your important significant other, because you don't need friction. You don't need bad temperament to come into what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to take advantage of compounding interest. Okay? And for me, I have 6 accounts. Or I would create 6 accounts. I only have 3 of these accounts that I'm mentioning to you here, but I have 6 accounts because I want one of these accounts. I want to save 10% for a stock market fund. We have a caller on the line. Tim, are you there?
Hey, Mr. Russo.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for taking the call. I wanted to give you a call just to give you a shout out. I caught the show a couple of weeks ago. I know this is off your topic today, but it was about racism. And I just think it took a lot of guts for you to talk about it. And it was I really enjoyed the show. And as far as demographics go, I'm a white male. I have a lot of black friends, a lot of Hispanic friends, and I think we're really divided in this country. And I think it was really heroic that you took a step out and pretty much, said it like it is, because now everything has to be so politically correct that nobody can really speak their minds where they're labeled as a racist. So I just think it was really courageous, and I wanted you to know that you have a lot of black listeners, white listeners, and Hispanic listeners that appreciate what you do.
I greatly appreciate it. And I chose the topic not thinking of the amount of research and things that would take. And when I got into it, I just didn't want to continue that topic because none of my white friends would give me any feedback. They would only say that it was a good show and that I was speaking the truth, but they would never give me any feedback. And that was an indication to me that it's a good topic, but we're not fully ready for it yet. And I appreciate you calling and maybe opening up the listeners to see that we have to begin to engage in this white hot conversation and to continue to improve this country. Is there any other questions or comments you have for the show?
No, Mr. Russo. Again, I thank you for taking the call. And I know it's off the topic, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and it was just awesome that you came out and said it like it is, man to man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tim.
You bet.
And we appreciate you listening to the show. Thank you so much. And we appreciate all of our callers. We appreciate our wide audience. And guys, I had a comment and that all of the pictures on the website are mostly blacks. Listen, guys, look, the producers are not trying to pick black or white. They're just trying to put together a show. They use chess pieces in some. We have a whole range of things that we're doing. So just be patient with us. This show is going to get better and better every single week. But I'm going to tell you, the last couple tips that I have for you for next week is to have a budget. Have a full detailed budget on everything that you spend. I'm going to be bringing out some apps that you can download on your phone, some websites that you can go to. I'm going to spell it out very detailed on how to reallocate your retirement fund, how to redistribute your assets, and to begin learning about different asset allocations, learning about how the taxes work with your retirement and some of the things that we can do to minimize the taxes. But the one thing that I want to leave you with today is that we have to, when you create that budget, look at the things that you feel that can be cut or reduce, and begin to start there, because the one of the largest items on our budget is our mortgage. It takes up roughly 30 to 40% of our mortgage. And I don't care what anybody tells you, in your mortgage, you're paying 90% to the bank in interest, and you're only paying 10% on your mortgage. I don't care who you are. Go Google it. Go research it. I don't care what the language says. At the end of the day, you're paying 90% interest, 10% on the principal. So how we fight that? My mortgage payment is $1,672. Okay. And only 10% of that is my principal payment. So from here on out, when the next time I make a check for $1,642, I'm going to make a separate check for $167.20 to go towards my principal. And if you do that one little simple thing with that extra $167 and make sure you're paying that principal, you will cut your mortgage by 15 years. You'll pay your mortgage off in 15 years. I had this little cliche where people told me, oh, send in one extra payment a month. No. That's not how it works. Send in one extra principal payment when you mail in your original payment, and you'll be fine. Next week, we're going to be diving into how you should invest your retirement, how you should set up these 6 accounts, how you should begin to dialogue with people in Macedonia and across the world to begin to create residual income for your family. My name is Hayden Russo, and this is the Hayden Russo Show. We are here not only to inspire you, we're here to educate you and to empower you. We will help you throughout all of the adversities that we see through our videos and through our communication. We are not here to pump you up. We are here to inspire you to do great things. Please tune in next week between 5 and 6 on Talk Zone, the Hayden Russo Show, and you can go back and pull it up on demand on TalkZone.com. Why replace your roof when you can repair it? Call Built Right Roofing today at 844-277-7663. That's 844-277-7663. Come and experience the Built Right way at 844-277-7663. If you like what you're hearing from Hayden Russo, book him today. 561-723-6775. He has experience to deal with trouble use, successful businessman, excellent motivator. Whatever your problem, he has an answer. Give us a try. 561-723-6775.
This segment of the show was sponsored by Shakira Roll at ERA Home Run Real Estate. Buy, sell, or rent. I can help the entire world. Need assistance with down payment? no problem. Call Shakira Roll today at 561-312-2641 or email her at info@rollhome.com. That's info@rollehome.com. Visit her website at www.rollhome.com. That's www.rollehome.com.